Hey, welcome to another episode of All Over the Place with Jay. Today I'm going to be recapping Belle Collective Season 7, Episode 7, and it's called Baby Rumor Got Back. And then I'm going to be recapping Love and Marriage Huntsville, Season 11, Episode 4, Oops, I Did It Again. Oh, oops, I DM'd again. That's corny, but go off, y'all. And then Married to Medicine, the reunion part 2. Okay, so let's get started. Belle Collective starts off with them still at the Belle Collective leave and everything at the funeral discussion that they had, where the ladies are going over, discussing what they want to bury and leave behind and not carry on. Like pretty much to bury to dead all the BS. And so pretty much Carrie tells Selena that pillow talking with her husband, that he was told that Mike, which is Selena's fiance, they're about to get married, they're planning a wedding, have fathered a baby. Drinking my green juice, y'all. I'm detoxing. My doctor had put me on high blood pressure medicine because I had forget to I have a cough and I normally take it because I was the last time I was on high blood pressure medicine, it was like 2018, but I had got my gastric sleeve and lost all my weight, and so they took me off. And so she swear up and down, she was like, stop doing that weird stuff. No, girl, I don't see nothing wrong or weird with detoxing your body from detoxification and using turmeric and ginger and green juice and vegetables. Okay, so ain't nothing wrong with detoxing. So y'all, and I started drinking hibiscus tea. I ain't took my my high blood pressure medication since last Sunday, y'all. I'm telling you, natural ways is natural stuff is the way to go. And watch my channel for more natural tips if y'all want tips on how to stay healthy without having to take all the medication that the doctors want to keep you on. You can just detox your body of all the detoxification with stuff that you probably got in your cabinet at home. So, okay, I digress. Okay, so back to it. Carrie was pretty much saying that her husband, Matt, told her that Mike had rumored had fathered a baby, and Selena was just like, yeah, he did tell me about that rumor, but none of this could be true. Could be no wedding, no nothing, no nada. Y'all remember that from last week? Okay, so they're still on it, but now Selena is trying to figure out who is the one that brought it to the collective. Last week I was saying that Marie Monroe probably is the one that brought her to the collective, but Marie actually did tell her. So they get into that, and she was like, the only one that pretty much told me is Selena. So she's not mad at, I'm sorry, not Selena. Selena said that she's not mad at Marie Monroe because she knows that she's the one, that's only one that told her. But she was like, if Carrie knew, why she didn't say nothing? If Letitia knew, why she didn't say nothing? Which she did. I believe Tisha kind of like apologizes. Latrice swore up and down she didn't know, even though Cliff, her husband, is the one that told Matt, because he said he heard Marie Monroe mentioning it at the event. I'm not sure if it was Selena's 40th. I'm not sure. I believe it was. But she was like, she said, I did not mention her. Marie Monroe swore up and down she didn't mention it. How Cliff found out, I don't know. That part is unclear. So we kind of still don't know, because Marie Monroe was like, nope. And when nobody's saying nothing, Latrice wasn't saying, oh, so you called my husband a lie. She didn't say nothing. And so the collective still don't know who bought that rumor or whatever. Because Selena does say, because Latrice is just like, yeah, how'd you find out? And Carrie was like, your man is the one that told my man. And she found out from him that he heard Marie Monroe discussing it, and that's why. And so they really don't get nothing settled at the not to me, not in my eyes. They didn't get nothing settled. But Latrice does speak up and said before Carrie told her, she was like, y'all call me the streets, and and I be in the streets and I ain't never heard that. And that's what Carrie was like, well, your man's the one that said it. But I thought it was funny that Latrice called herself the streets. And so they don't get nothing resolved as far as I'm concerned. And the next thing is Latrice going to meet up with her team to discuss, remember, let's not forget last week, her husband came up there, and I said Latrice, Leticia. Her husband came to her photo shoot and asked for food, Glenn did. And so now she's meeting up with her team to find out, because yes, her manager, I think his name was Ford. Ford was extremely unprofessional. Extremely. I don't know if I would have, I don't know. I probably would have fired him because I kind of, at some point, I kind of thought he was calling him sexual chocolate. I kind of thought he was taunting him. Like, if this is my husband and you work for me, don't do that. Because when I let him loose and to let him whoop your ass, I'm going to be wrong. And I'm just extremely protective of my husband. I probably would have told him he fired on the spot because I have a bad temper. But she was kind of, this is before she makes for her team and her confessionals. She was like, he means a lot to me. Like, he's important. And I was just like, I don't know if, when Glenn see this, he gonna act a fool, right? Because he already crazy. And so what you think he finna say when he see how you hear, what do you think Glenn is going to say when he hears you talking about how important this man is to you in your life and how much he's taught you the business? Oh, Glenn gonna act a fool. I actually can't wait to see his response. Okay? I don't follow really none of them, but I sure did go to her page to see if I seen anything. I don't know. I don't remember if I did or not. I don't know if I seen pictures of Glenn. I think it was just all her. I don't know if her and Glenn's together. I don't think I seen any pictures of Glenn because I showed to go to her page. I started following her because I really do like Letitia. I really do. She seems like she's a very humble woman who's trying to gain that confidence back from being under her husband's thumb. And so Southern man, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I couldn't be with no Southern man. It's too much for me. And I do believe in couples being submissive to one another. But a Southern man just want you, the woman, to be submissive to the man. No, sir. Discussing stuff. They pull him up on Zoom or whatever. He's so unattractive. Let me stop. Because clearly the man, I can't see how, because he seems so unprofessional to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, clearly she really needs his professional help. But I feel like he's extremely unprofessional. It probably does need to be fired. But she said, what did he think is best? And he said leave of absence. Of course he would. He ain't gonna say, no, girl, fire me. Fire me. He ain't gonna say that. Happy spring, y'all. I wanted to just break out my little colorful because it's officially spring, y'all. Can't wait. Spring is one of my, well, I ain't gonna say it's my favorite season. Winter, fall is. I don't like being hot. I don't like sweating at all. I do not like to bust a sweat. That's why I got my AC on now, because normally it's my window and fan is on, but it can't be loud up in here. Okay, so anyways, they're discussing it. She says how important she is. She puts him on leave of absence, and that's pretty much where they agree on. She does tell Glenn later on he ain't too happy about it, but she puts him on leave of absence. He probably do need to be fired, but she's acting like he's such an asset to what she's trying to do. So girl, go off. I don't see how he's that much of an asset because he's giving not professional. Trying to come up on somebody's face, calling him sexual chocolate. What's wrong with you? Is he gay? Like, that ain't making no sense. And Latrice meet up, and once again Carrie comes up there looking a mess. I don't know what Carrie be having on. I really don't. I'm gonna need her to start explaining some stuff. Like, she had, like, I was like, girl, who's your style? I don't. She can't have one. And her hair is always frizzy. I know the weather in Alabama in that area, because when I go to Louisiana, and it ain't that far. When I go to Louisiana, I have to have my hair up in some type of protective dew. But Carrie's hair is always giving frizzy. I'm like, girl, ain't you from over there? She from somewhere over there. Is she from Louisiana? You know how y'all what's the name set up. Do something with your hair. Put a wig on or do something. I'm tired of her hair looking frizzy. But she came up and looking a mess. I was like, girl, what you got on? I don't know what time of season it is, but she had a little white hat with a little white puffy thing, like she's about to go skiing in Aspen. I was like, ooh, girl, Carrie, you be killing me with your fashions, honey. Please holler in my inbox if you need some help. I can help you from California. Okay? I can just see what you like, order some shit for you, and have it to your door, because you killing me with your fashion, baby. And you could be sometimes. I'm like, okay then. Like when she wear her fedoras, I'm a fedora wearer, and when I get so mad when I see women wearing fedoras that they ain't rocking it right. Like right now in the episode of Love and Marriage Huntsville, Destiny has on a hat that's irritating the mess out of me. I'm like, girl, it gets bent, and just like y'all, if y'all can rock a fedora, please rock it right. Now, I will give this to Tamara. Tamara will rock her fedoras. She rocked in riot brims, too. Now, Tamara, that's the only thing I can say, because sometimes she gives me fashion. Sometimes I'll be like, what's going on? I'll be over here with my hand on my head like, how can you meet the mark one day, the next minute you look at a mess? Like, I be over here like, who is y'all stylist if you guys have one? If you guys don't have one, I think Tamara does, because she dresses real cute. Especially for Mississippi, yeah. I'm almost positive Tamara has a stylist. But them other girls, please get one. Marie Monroe, you get one. Ask Selena who her stylist is. Y'all about the same size, thick figured. Do something, because y'all be killing me. Y'all giving Mississippi. Okay? I don't want to be rude. Okay. So let's go get back. Let's get back to Carrie and Latrice meeting up. So Latrice and her get to talking. And it comes out that Marie Monroe is the one that was starting to spread the rumor for what they know for right now. Because they haven't had the discussion where she said, no, I feel like she did. But no, maybe they haven't had it yet. But when Latrice and Carrie get to talking, they find out because Latrice didn't appreciate her putting that on her husband. Because she was like, it's easier just to blame the man. Girl, so who you scared of? Who are you scared of? I mean, and if that's where you heard it from the man, then say that. You know what I'm saying? Say that. But she was just like, it's easy to just put it on him. Latrice was like, let me put that on my husband. And she was like, because the last thing I'm going to do is put something on Matt. And Carrie was like, oh, yeah, you're right. You're right. Then Tamara and Letitia meet up, which I ain't seen that. They said they ain't met up in a minute. And I ain't seen them meet up since like, I don't know when the show first started. It had to be season 2. So they meet up for the first time. They haven't met up in a minute. It said 2021 is what it says. She stepped out the car looking like, listen, looking like she was going to the club. She had on some thigh-high boots. I said, Tamara, where are you going? It is still daylight. If I'm not mistaken, she had a dent in the front of her Beamer. I was like, is that a dent? And they all up on it? If not, if I'm mistaken, they pulled up on it to let us make sure they can see the dent. I said, y'all wrong, cameraman. Y'all ain't right. But I just be focused on her outfits. I was like, every time you going somewhere, it looked like you going somewhere else. So maybe she was, you know what I'm saying? Maybe she was about to go to the club after that because it was still daylight and they were just having lunch. And she had on thigh highs and they had on a pleather looking dress like she was about to hit the club up. Maybe she was. I don't want to be rude. And she was talking about how she missed her baby's first performance. But I was really happy how Latrice, was just like, dang. And she left early. But I guess it was traffic. When I tell you, I probably would have been crying. Probably would have met her for that. I would be like, messing with y'all. I do not play about my kids. Ooh, I don't. I probably would have still been up there crying, talking to her. I'm like, girl, you know what? I can't even meet you because I'm still over here mad. I've been with upside your head just for making me late. She said, that wasn't my fault. She said, you shouldn't have came. I said, I'm going upside your head because I need to blame somebody and here for right now with you. Ugh. Sometimes you do get chunks of fruit, and then I got my black girl vitamin collagen powder in here. Baby, I'm not playing with y'all. I'm not playing with y'all. I got my flex and chia seeds, and I got my sea moss. Ooh, and I got my liquid Cetaphil. I forget what, I don't think I'm saying it right, but it's a thing to help you burn fat. But okay, back to business. Okay, so she missed her baby's performance. Letitia was really saying like, I am so sorry. She'll have plenty more. Girl, what's her first? Don't try to console me. Don't. Because I really probably go upside your head. But she did really do a good job of trying to say like, I'm so sorry, but I would have still been crying. I tell you, Sean, I keep messing her name up. What's her name? Tambra, which is awful. I'm sorry. Tambra was like, I got a friend. Are we made friends? I could have bought a friend. And this is kind of wrong. And Letitia was just like, well, unlike Latrice and Amanda, which is Latrice's best friend, and Tamara, because Tamara was there kicking and he slapping too when Amanda said that Glenn was in her DMs. They was all laughing. And I sure would have been at home like, and I'm sure Letitia was blinking like, oh, y'all supposed to be my friends, but y'all over here trying to set up this and say my husband was in y'all DMs, knowing it was nothing that he probably would have. He probably would have been like, what's up? And probably did. But I tell you this, Shantae must have come up in there. And when she was just like, yeah, I heard something from Shantae, which is stupid. It's a stupid scenario to me, first of all. She said, I heard something from Shantae, and I wanted to have her tell you because she got the receipts or whatever. And so she was just like, yeah, I heard you and Damon, whatever his name is, Damon, are no longer together. Y'all were just two friends that wouldn't have a baby together. I believe that part is true. I really do. I believe that part is all the way true. It don't seem like they was never together, and she never seemed to care about him. I remember in the early seasons, I have to go back and watch Belle because I've never really watched it and paid all kind of close attention to it, honestly, until I started recapping and taking these notes. I definitely like the show, but like I said, OWN be playing commercials. And so that's the only show I watch that has commercials. You would lose my attention real quick. Okay. When I'm watching a show that has commercials. So is Huntsville. Huntsville with commercials too, but I can watch it somewhere else without the commercials. Anyway. And so, like I said, she's just like, yeah, so since I believe in girl code, and so I've had her come and deliver the news. So she was just like, yeah, you guys are really friends, and that you with somebody else. And she showed her the picture. Tamara starts cracking up saying that's a client, and Shantae was just like, just because he's a client don't mean. She was like, oh, I'm not doing that. Like, I don't mix business with pleasure, and The man looked a mess too. He wasn't nothing cute, so I don't listen. I probably wouldn't have claimed him either if that is the case. If that is true, I would have been laughing too, like, ha, that ain't my man, girl, bye. Sorry, I ain't right. But she starts cracking up, and Shantae's still looking like, And then Tamara didn't even elaborate on if rather her and Damone are together or not. She skips past that because first of all she knows true. Skips past that and she was like, oh well, since we talking about rumors, she was like Shantae, and she was like, oh Lord. She was like, yes, we talking about rumors, Shantae. I heard that the reason why what's her name, Letitia don't be tripping because she know everything Glenn do and she don't care as long as he take care of the home. Oh no, I'm sorry. She said that she knows that everything Glenn do and she don't care as long as she's involved. And then this one girl they named Amanda, the girl that's Latrice's friend. Amanda told her that they asked her to be in a threesome, and Letitia's like, oh, she still want her 5 minutes, she still want her 15, she still want her 15 minutes. Okay, girl, I'll give it to you, but girl, please, you know you a lie. I don't believe that, but I do believe maybe Shantae. I believe maybe Shantae. And Shantae was like, no, like, don't be putting me in that mix. And I think Tamara threw that in there. Maybe Amanda did tell her that. But even though she said it, she was like, oh, I think they added you in there too. I think that was just her way of throwing shade. I don't think Amanda told her that Shantae was one of the people on the list. Girl, bye. You know you just threw that in there for good measure. Okay? You know you just threw that in there for good measure. And then so Selena and Mike go to this yoga type class, like, I guess I've seen it before on a different, housewives, stuff like that. It's like trapeze with these, these silk sheets or laces or whatever. And he's like, I ain't doing that. He ain't like, I ain't doing that. I would love to, but I know Selena got in there. When I had to tell you that had spread eagle was all up in her business. Okay, I wouldn't be cool with that. I wouldn't be cool with my stuff being spread eagle all up on TV and the camera was right there. The cameraman be acting shady as hell. The cameraman be shady. They really do. So all up in her business. And so she was spread eagle. He was helping her, and I would have needed help too because I know Selena 50. I would have like, can somebody get both my legs and put them up in here? Shoot. But she got her behind up in there and she was doing it. All that booty. Now this is the first time I'm actually seeing a little bit of her age. I still won't say she looks 50, but keep in mind this woman has had a stroke and a heart attack, and she didn't have no makeup on, so you could kind of see. I mean, is she a bad bitch? Still a bad bitch. She still is. But yeah, I seen a little bit of her age in this scene when she was talking to Mike because she didn't have no makeup on. I'm pretty sure she had like foundation and stuff on, but she didn't have nothing else on, and I seen a little bit of her age. But I'm still gonna give it to her. As you have a stroke, you look older, and so I'm like, what did that bitch look like before she had that stroke? That's what I want to know. What was you looking like before? Pull up a picture, something, tell me something. And they have show pictures of her. Pretty much when Mike and Selena are at the yoga class. After the class, they sit down at the end of the class and they're talking about where the rumor came from. And he was saying when he heard it, he brought it directly to her. He don't know what nobody's talking about, but it couldn't be the case. And that Cliff told him. And then later on in the scene, Cliff and them at Taste, they talking about stuff or whatever. It looks really nice, actually, to be honest. But Cliff is like, yeah, Mike told me that's a rumor. Somebody made that up. It ain't a baby that could be found. Somebody lying on him. And then so... the last scene is the girls are coming up to support Latrice and her fans and for this focus group to watch her show, a pilot that she did. And when I tell you, her first guest was Letitia Scott. She was her first guest on her what's the name. But when I tell you, Tamara and Latrice were on their phones. When I tell you they was not giving a damn, they was being so rude. They was like, anyway, I don't know if they watched it, but they wanted some constructive criticism and feedback. And Lonnie Love, they had her, the comedian Lonnie Love, they had her come. Very good. And I really did like Lonnie's advice or whatever, because she's been on TV. She knows, the coloring, sound, all that feedback is important for her. And then, like letting them talk and then listening and actually paying attention and then giving her feedback. Because, since they're like girlfriends, they was talking over each other or whatever. And I believe Tamara or somebody gave that same advice, which is good advice too. But Tamara and Latrice should not have given any advice because they were not listening. They were on their phones, which I think is incredibly rude. If somebody's asking you to watch something and then give you a girl, watch it. It wasn't an hour. At least I don't think so. Especially in person, I can see if I sent you something. Lord knows I got ADHD real bad. So if I could see, I don't even watch my own videos back. I don't. I'm sorry. And so, anyways, so they're like I said, after she gets the feedback from Lonnie Love, she got the feedback from the girls, and they did give some good feedback. They did. Like I said, Tamara and Latrice should have had their mouth shut. But she gets some good feedback from them, and they really liked it. They discussed the baby rumor a little bit. And this is when they start discussing it, because afterwards they go to sit around the table and eat. And this is when Marie Monroe was like, no. I didn't mention that shit. Because Latrice does say that's what Glenn said. And she said, no, he didn't, not me. She said, I didn't say that. And then, so like I said, she didn't have any receipts. And so if you don't have the receipts about something, then I would just let it go. And it was like a year ago. So I was like, who gives a fuck? Latrice does have me dying because, Shantae is there again because she is Letitia's friend. I'm not sure if Letitia is trying to bring Shantae into the group, but, they were talking about stuff and going around saying we were just supposed to be getting on track. And now, you got this heifer outside noise, bring it in, because she did bring it up again to Tamara, and was just like, well, you still could be seeing clients. It's like, girl, like, why are you trying to make nothing out of something? Okay, now if it is, we'll find out. But who are you? And why the hell are you bringing this drama to the collective? Now, I don't blame Latrice. She was just like, we need to start living in outside noise. And remember, was like, oh, you saying Shantae outside noise? Whatever. Whoever is not in this collective, she's like, we a group. And whoever ain't in this group need to be minding their business and hushing up. She didn't say that, but that's pretty much what she said. That's pretty much how much she said. So yeah, I suggest they take Latrice's advice and stop listening to outside noise. Why that girl at the table? Letitia, take this girl on somewhere. Okay, so now let's get into Love and Marriage Huntsville, season 11, episode 4. Oops, I DM'd again. Okay, so the episode starts off with Kimmy and all in Michigan. So the Scotts. So the Scotts are in Pontiac, Michigan, and they're walking around or whatever with the husbands. I think they're so cute, but you can't tell me that all the men on shit, damn near all these Southern shows don't cheat. Oh, ice cream shop that they used to go to that they said their dad growing up used to take them there. It would be their treat after they helped them work. His dad is in construction too. That's how they got started into it. And then said that Marceau took her there when they first started dating. Well, I thought that was cute. I know a lot of women probably like, I don't think it was their first date, but I think it's very cute that he took her back to his, childhood ice cream shop where he has memories from. I think that's touching to me. And so anyways, they sit down or whatever, and Kimmy asks them how their daddy was doing. I think they call him Daddy Scott or whatever, and, asked him how he was feeling because she picked on some things and that she was feeling from him. And so, yeah, I think the daddy was tripping too. Of course, I don't know him, but she picked on and then he was saying stuff too when Daddy Scott and Letitia and Kimmy sat down at the uncle's, like, a little academy. He was kind of saying, like, one time I was asking them to, I don't know where he was at, but he was just like, why you guys didn't write me letters, or you guys didn't give me cards, or you guys didn't, he was just like, we don't know you. This is what Marceau said. And he said that kind of stayed with him. And of course it would. Of course that would stay with you. You don't want your kids to be like, I don't know you. But so he was kind of telling them, I don't know why the dad, when Marceau said something to him, he was acting like that's not what he said, but he does. And so she tells them that they need to go ahead and give people their flowers now, and and let them know why they're here. Ken and Latricia at the house, which I feel like the scene was totally set up, because the last we seen they were Dr. Francis' office still getting the therapy session. Ken said he was kind of turned off after Dr. Francis said something about their kids. Now, he was just pretty much reiterating, like, why are you guys doing this arguing, fighting in front of them? Like, pretty much you guys be the adults. Ken pretty much got mad and said he kind of checked out after that. And I don't know why. It was telling the truth. But anyway, Ken's out there working on his truck that the teacher was like, I told you to trash it. But he out there working on it. He said he put too much money in it. It looks like she just said, come up to the house. I'll meet you outside from your apartment, and so we can make the scene up real quick. You can't tell me Ken and Trisha are still together. I'm sorry. I really don't think so. But anyway, so she go out there, bring a little something. I think some juice or water, I don't know. And then she sat down, and then she was telling him that Letitia Scott pretty much told her that that you need to get Ken up out of people's DMs, and he kind of acts calm when she says it. He's kind of quiet, he don't say nothing, and then he was just like, yeah, like a couple DMs. I don't feel like there's nothing. I didn't talk to you in 3 months, and she's kind of looking like, excuse me, like, girl, you probably got a whole nother man. I don't, but she kind of fakes it off like she gives a fuck. She kind of fakes it off like, excuse me, I'm like, boo boo. I don't know what you've been over there doing for 3 months, which I'm pretty sure is getting something tapped on because you ain't over there twiddling your thumbs. But what you think a man gonna do? And the way you didn't give a damn in that therapy session, I'm pretty sure somebody else is knocking them boots or something. Or you entertaining another man as well. Or woman. I don't know what you prefer. I can't call it. And so he said, yeah, if you do, I don't think it's a big deal. I don't think it's a big deal. And she looks like, wow. And then she told her, she told him that makes her question his loyalty. I do kind of think that's funny. I'm like, girl, you be the one doing all the lying? I don't know why. I really do. Which people are probably like, damn, you always take the man's side. No, we wasn't even talking in like days and days and days and days. I'm going to say months and months and months and months. And then Trisha says, she said, well, you would have to talk to, no, Ken says, well, I'm gonna have to have a little chit chat with Marcel. Like, I don't appreciate Letitia just telling you stuff. She's making she's driving the wedge in our relationship. Now, Ken, baby, you DMing somebody else and Trisha having a problem with it, baby, that's your problem. That's a you problem. You shouldn't have did it. Don't be over there blaming. I don't. Honestly, she probably was just following girl code too. You know what I'm saying? Letitia was just probably like, let me tell this bitch that this boy's in DMs, because clearly she know the girl that he's DMing. She know him. And when he told her, she said, oh, tell him. Personally, I will too. If I fucks with a girl, I probably will tell. I'm like, yeah, you know your man over here, people DM, right? Academy, that he teaches constructions or whatever. And Marcel actually does say a good speech. He really does. Was that Marcel or was it Maurice? It was Marcel. He says a really good speech. I really enjoyed it. And then later on, they asked. I love the way they call him Daddy too. I think it's so cute. And Maurice tells his daddy how he feels, and as a how he feels as how he feels his dad was as a father. Maurice and Marcel do. When I tell you I was crying. And so, they of course, they're proud of their uncle. And I don't know why earlier in the episode, when Kimmy was telling them to tell their dad all these things, he was just saying that, like, there's not the time. They're honoring Uncle Ricky. No, you better tell your daddy. Maurice, he said he would tell him to jump this Uncle Ricky now. He don't tell the boy to jump down on one leg, do anything. He said Maurice, always listen to him, always do it. And Maurice did make a good point. He was like, well, it takes a village, and he's not lying. With the Scotts and their uncles at the academy school. Like I said, the speech was very beautiful. I don't know why the daddy was trying to act like what he told Kimmy and Letitia wasn't what he said, because it was. And the shop, and when I tell you it was weird, Martell was getting weird, but I'm right there with Martell. I don't like all that skulls and stuff like that. That gives me, I be feeling like that's devil worshiping stuff. I don't believe in all them. He had a whole bunch of skulls, and it was dark. They don't tell them what they be doing in there. It was only one chair in there, a stripper pole, and Martell was like, you looking like I ain't coming back up in here. I don't blame him. I probably would have had to go home and sage and pray that off. I don't know what they doing in that shop, but I'm glad Disney left you alone. Give the other fine boy anyway. The other one was fine anyway. I forget his name. Will, I can already tell what he was on. I was like, yeah, Disney, steer clear from Will. And they get to talking about Ken and Trisha. Of course, Ken is there. And then he tells them about his apartment and stuff like that. This Ken was pretty much saying how Letitia Scott pretty much told Trish that Ken was in somebody else's DMs. Now Martell just got the DMs or whatever, and then Will does get up in his ass and pretty much tell him. And Martell, before I get into that story, Martell gonna say, here go Letitia Scott, discussing other people's I guess he said dick, I don't know, but I'm just like, boy, you're a man. If the females do talk, we have something as girl code, the same way your guy is guy code. We got the same code. Y'all be over there gossiping too, so don't act like you ain't. So I think Martell just gets on my nerves. He really does. But he did have me rolling talk about that man's shop, because I was right there with him. I would have been clutching my pearls. I would say, let me go in here and get my holy water and bless this place up before I come up in here. Don't tell him what I'm finna bring it back from being up in here. So I do feel him on that. But then he gets on my nerves. And so after he tells him about the apartment or whatever like that, Will does kind of say, like, he was like, okay, I think Martell asked if she could come. Has she ever been over there? He was like, no, because she brings too much energy. I don't want that energy over here. That's the reason why I can't be at the house. I don't know if I believe in that energy mess, because I know I'm like that, but I'm a female. I don't know. When a man gets his own apartment, red flag. You wouldn't in them girls' DM so they can pull up and play patty cake. Especially if she don't know you live at. No, sir. I don't believe you for 1 second, Ken. I don't think you would just DM if somebody done pulled up. 3 months? No. Somebody done pulled up. And of course, Martell want to be giving unsolicited advice, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's the person to be telling somebody anything. He gonna fix his life to say, yeah, but Ken, you need to make sure you trust her before you know what I'm saying, be around her like that. You gotta make sure you trust. Now, do I trust Trish? No, I don't. But I just think, Martell, when it comes to people's relationships, shut your mouth up. You ain't got no reason, no right, no reason, no hush, boy. Don't say nothing about nobody's relationship. You got your nerve. So he just gets on my nerves so bad I can't control it. Okay, so anyways, give him the best advice, because when he was saying about him being in other people's DMs, he was like, it wasn't like that. Like, he said somebody, it was his fitness girl. I think they blurred out her name. He said he went to this fitness girl's page or whatever. He was liking what she was doing, and he liked that. He was like, yeah, I like what you're doing. I like to see what you're doing. I like your fitness. Da, da, da. And we was just like, you want to jump in her DMs if it wasn't something that intrigued you or interested you about her. And we was kind of acting like no, that ain't. And Will was like, so if she hit you back on some what's up shit, you know damn well what's the next move. Like, you ain't finna be like, oh, well, I'm involved. No, boy. You know daggone well you hit her up and say you like your fitness or so. The same way. And then he had the nerve to say, even when me and Trish started talking, it wasn't even like that. She was married. And who she with now? With a husband. But who she with? Yeah, fool. Yo ass. So, yeah. No, Ken, good try, though. Both of y'all seem like y'all over their line. Both of y'all over their line. So, neither one of y'all can be trusted. So, this, if it is a relationship, it's toxic, and get on out of it. Neither one of y'all can believe in each other, and both of y'all hit line. I mean, the girl's married, and you supposed to be able to believe her. And then even in their session, she was saying that Ken be accusing her of cheating, the bed squeaking while he was in the gym. Just crazy nonsense. Crazy nonsense. I'm like, Ken, if she at the gym, pull up. Don't you got her location? If you got somebody's location, I share you to this location. That's it. What's wrong with that? If you got issues in your marriage relationship, share your location, and be quiet. I ain't got, because he was like, because then Martell gonna say, because she lied about something small, then she'll lie about something big. Like you would know. You would know, sir. The nerve. Ooh, you get on my talking about she lied about something big, small, something big. True. Yes, true. But is Ken not over there lying? Huh? Is he not? Yes, because he is. He over there lying too. So don't be over there just telling Ken that she lied. Yes, because he over there lying as well. He ain't hitting these girls up in the DM. She be like, you want to come up here and play patty cakes? Is that what you want to do? Please. He's still over. He said he don't know what, what she over there doing. But clearly he want to still be in a relationship. Because he could just end it if it's like that. Okay? But I'm going to go ahead and tell you what the real is. He don't want to end it or act like, they don't want to act like they ended it because they both want to build the show still. And they both need the storyline because they don't want to tell what the hell they really doing, which ain't together. You might as well tell that. That'll be more interesting than y'all here lying. Act like y'all together when y'all damn sure ain't. And if you are, Ken, you a fool. Need to be slapped to sleep somewhere. If he is really over there being faithful to a married woman, I don't see nothing wrong with him being in the DMs myself. But if he is over there really being faithful to a married woman, boy, slap yourself. Slap yourself. I can guarantee you right now, Latricia's over there entertaining somebody else. She ain't thinking about you. If you on a whole trip and she didn't call you, if she don't call you on a daily, like, baby, did you eat? Good morning. I'll tell you if she was doing something. Okay, fool. Okay, boy. I ain't got it. I guess. She wouldn't tell nobody though. She wouldn't tell her soul. She wouldn't tell her friends, so they wouldn't find out because listening, or whatever. Because remember, they're all still in Michigan, and so they're telling about the time that she had with her family and how she felt or whatever. Marceau was saying that that she said that she's aggressive because Maurice was just like, is that why you so feisty? It's like, me feisty, and then Marceau says aggressive, and she said no, that's the wrong assertive. I would say she's assertive too. I don't think she's aggressive. I would say she's assertive. I really do. I think Destiny. She's mild-tempered. For all everything she went through, please. Okay, so the Scots meet up when Ken had to get an apartment, and he was just like, maybe that's needed or stuff like that. Maybe the separation is good for them or whatever before they split or whatever. And then I guess they're supposed to be trying to open up a restaurant. And pretty much Martell was clowning like, man, it's been 2 years. I don't know if they're waiting on Marceau because they were just saying like he got some other stuff that he's working on. And he was just saying pretty much Kimmy is upset too. I guess Kimmy might be the cook, but that's cute that they open up a restaurant. I don't know why Martell always somewhere clowning. Like, I think he likes to see people fail. He don't celebrate when people win, but he would celebrate when you fail, though. Then Ken meets up with Marceau, and so he could tell him about Trisha. First, if you ask me, Marceau was kind of just like really getting into Ken's behind about their relationship, giving them advice, and he was giving him advice like he's a married man. Ken was just like, yeah. Like, I understand. Like, I don't know. I know you see me and Trish like we're married, but at the end of the day, we're not married. And I'm happy you said that, Ken. Like, you need to chat that to yourself every morning. If you're really being faithful to her, and what everything Marceau was saying actually is true, if you're really in it with her, but you're not, so I don't see nothing he said to you was wrong. But he was talking to him as if that's his wife. But I also think Marceau was a little lit. It looks like he had been sipping for a while. So he could have just been talking out his ass. He was like, yeah, we're not married. And so then he pretty much tells him, like, what you need to do is get your bitch, okay? And so, cause like, and how Letitia Scott told Trish that he was in somebody else's DMs, and then Marcel was acting all embarrassed and saying that he's embarrassed for that and sorry, yeah. Like if you really was, why are you mad? Like the same way you guys have guy code, we have girl code. Why are you mad? I don't get it. I'm not sure. I'm not sure why he's mad at when he admitted to it. So I don't understand Ken's point right here. Like, there's girl code. That's how we get down. So why are you mad? Like, I want to explain that shit. So anyway, that concludes the episode of 11 Marriage Huntsville. And so now I'm going to recap really quick the reunion for Married to Medicine. And so the episodes, this is the reunion part 2. And so the episode starts off with Dr. Heavenly being asked. So starting off for the season 12, episode 16 of the Married to Medicine reunion part 2, the episode starts off with asking and confirming mainly Dr. Jackie if Dr. Heavenly really pushed Dr. Simone. Dr. Jackie is still sitting next to Dr. Simone trying to, get her to really forgive her. And so when Nandy asked a question, she said no, she did not push her. And then he went around and asked all the ladies. They confirmed that Dr. Heavenly did not push Dr. Simone. Now, she did take her hand up from around her firmly. I would say she took her hand from around her very like, I don't blame her though. I don't blame her. Like, don't come talk like, yeah, take it back. Dr. Heavenly is so fake. But I think Dr. Heavenly, she had mother issues, and I say all this all the time. Issues when they have mommy problems. I see it. It just makes their confidence very low. And so a lot of the women that I watch that have mommy issues, Marie Monroe, Dr. Heavenly, I'm gonna say Contessa, but I think it's because she lost her mom at such a young age. Contessa I don't think Contessa is deeply insecure as Dr. Heavenly. But yeah, it's just a lot of the women that we watch on TV. Kenya Moore, a lot of women we watch on TV, Nene Leakes, that have mom issues. It stays with them. It's like it just stays with you. But with the reunion, when I tell you the men are the one that carried it and came through, the ladies did their thing, but when the men, baby, they came through. And when I tell you, Steve stepped in the room ready to get in Dr. Eugene's ass. Now he had on 2 outfits. So the outfit that he wore actually on the stage was giving costume. He be doing a little bit too much for me. He had his taco meat all out. He don't got no taco meat, but he had his thing, jacket unbuttoned down to his navel. I'm playing. But he was giving costume. Like he's Steve. I was giving you credit with your fashions before. Now you doing too much, boy. Now I got to throw that away because your Louis Vuitton jacket was doing too much. It was giving bomber jacket with Louis Vuitton, what's the name on it, and your whatever you was wearing, it probably was Louis Vuitton as well. It was giving costume. It was doing way too much. Okay. He was doing way too much. I said, sir, now I want you to sit down. Even though I understand where he's coming from, but he came in a little bit too hot. But I mean, Dr. Eugene deserved it. When I tell you he was getting on my last nerve, but he gonna get in his ass at the end to where I actually feel bad. Because the way Steve gonna get up in his ass, first of all, he ain't lying. And when somebody tell you some shit and you know it's true, that shit stings. That you think you hiding from somebody, oh shit. That shit stings. So I was like, ugh. Oh my God, he's telling him the truth. But I'll get to that. So anyways, after so when I tell you Steve come in hot, when I tell you I love, is it Cecil? Yeah, Dr. Simone's he definitely was calling. He was like, man, you came through with the Louis. He always bring it up and how he dresses, which I love, because I want to just believe he's clowning. Okay, that's I don't care if he ain't. I'm gonna just stick with Cecil's clowning. So anyway. He comes in hot for Eugene, and so the men are backstage, so they come in, they getting their little food. The men don't be phased at all. They get their little food or whatever. He's sitting on the arm in the chair. He like can't wait for Dr. Eugene to say something so he can say something. They bring up the Met Gala again. Dr. Eugene was pretty much saying like, like you can't be talking about something that you knew that you damn sure knew about. And Steve was standing 10 toes down saying they did not know. But I kind of feel like they were in the room when they were talking about how everybody still has to purchase a ticket. They were still in the room. Like, if you don't want to donate, don't donate. But if you're going to come support the cause, buy a ticket. And then he said he did. And told you like, no, you didn't. She's like, no, you did not. He was like, oh, we bought a ticket. Why are you lying too? You lying as well? And like, you should have just went ahead and paid it. I know you probably still mad about that $5,000 that you dropped for that bowl the season before. That's why you ain't, because it's taking away trips to your Louis store. And honestly, I hate to say this. Well, I don't. The fact that you have all that Louis stuff and you guys' home is kind of like mediocre, that's weird to me. Like, Toya don't be having all, and look at their house. Their house is massive. Dr. Jackie, I don't know if I've ever seen Dr. Jackie in any labels, which I appreciate that. They have beautiful homes, beautiful. Stop getting on that Louis and invest in something that can make you some money at the end of the day. Your home, your property. What you gonna get for them clothes? Not the resale value. Just ignorant. But anyway, so Dr. Eugene is pretty much, he was like, why did you come? Like, pretty much, if you're going to come support the gala, then support the gala, buy a ticket. Which, I get that part. I get that. And so, they still going back and forth. The same thing from last week. And then, pretty much, Curtis going to chime in. Curtis chimes in and was pretty much telling him that he don't check his wife. And that his wife was on public TV and watch what happens live, lying. Which he was not. Curtis, I really wish, first I wish you would shut your ugly behind up. He just really somebody that irritates him. Even the sight of his face irritates and messes me. I don't see how Dr. Jackie do it. But he was just like, yeah, you know, you perpetuated a lie. It's not a lie, sir, because you did kind of have your hand on Dr. Heavenly's waist. They showed the picture. Dr. Heavenly said she didn't feel it, so maybe he had it up. He didn't want to have it down to the side looking like a soldier. I don't know. But he did kind of have his hand on Dr. Heavenly's waist in the picture. He definitely sat LaToya down on his lap, which, like I said, I still would be perturbed. Dr. Eugene said he is. I bet you somebody, if it was King or if it was Steve, then Toya would have no problem. Okay, then? Okay, that you probably would have dirty winded it real quick on their lap. Okay? But anybody would be grossed out with Curtis. I probably would have popped Curtis. Don't you ever put me down on your nasty looking stank dick. I'm sorry. But I would have it would have been a real fight up in there if he had ever put me down on his nasty looking behind. And so anyways, pretty much after Dr. Eugene and Curtis get into it, you know, they're just like, damn, Curtis, you know, and my wife was uncomfortable. He was like, did I pretty much put my hands on your wife? He was like, yes, I did. He was like, but you know, pretty much that's it. Like, why are you protecting her lying? She didn't tell no lie. Okay, she was, because and then in the back room, Toya was just like, it was me, Dr. Jackie, and she said one other guest. Well, she said Dr. Jackie. She said it was me, another castmate, and then the other one that ain't a castmate. I said, I hate to have to put somebody put Dr. Jackie in her place, but she needed to be. And then Toya told her backstage, she was like, no, that really messed with me. She said, because all these years you say he didn't do it. Girl, have you seen the tape? I would have just sent her the clip. If I was Toya, I would have just sent Dr. Jackie the clip. I said, oh, so your husband didn't do it? Okay, here's a clip. I know they got access to the clip. I got access to the clip. And so I would have definitely DM'd her and be like, yeah, baby, since you don't believe it, enough said. So you won't have to go ahead and say, retract that. Or I can post it to your timeline. You figure it out. Tell me which one you want to do. Okay, and then, like I said, talk about the Met Gala. Steve goes off, calls him Eugene Bush. Wrong. But the reason why Steve and Dr. Mimi are pretty much mad at Dr. Eugene is because they felt like they were stepped to, and it was calculated at the Met Gala. Now he did step to him, but he explains that it was a woman at the door that didn't have a ticket, and it was an issue, and that he was pretty much helping his wife out with him helping out his wife at the door. I don't see nothing wrong with that, because Contessa's show gonna say, nobody asked you to help Dr. Eugene. Nobody asked for your help. The only thing you should have been as a guest, you should have found some business. I don't agree with that part. And so, but Dr. Mimi and Steve did think that it was calculated, but it's not. And he explains that. He explains that why he was at the door. And, you know, they feel like they was fronted for a ticket, all that other stuff. But that wasn't the case. It can, and, you know, donate. Don't talk about his wife. And then this is when they're backstage. When they get on the stage, Andy does ask a couple questions. Fellas get backstage, and this is a doozy. When the fellas gets backstage, because it wasn't that many points I wanted to hit, they talk about Dr. Simone and her boys, and how she still has to cut them off. Andy does ask if they've cut off. She confirms that Cecil does have his own job. He has 2 jobs, and he pays all his bills. She is just tired. Girl, cut them kids off, and you'll feel less as tired. And so that's something, I'm sorry, it's a you problem, Simone. They go over that. They go over Dr. Damon and Dr. Heavenly's son. He had a mishap. Praying for that boy, because it is so true. So many black men get locked up. and they have mental issues and they just keep them in jail and they're not being treated. It's so wrong, and it's so very true. So my heart goes out to them, and I pray that their son gets the treatment and the help that he needs. Dr. Heavenly said that he is, but it's because of who she is. But so many other people need assistance with that. Okay, and then they going on. She ain't with old boy no more. Angel don't have a storyline, so I don't know why they would have her back. Quad gets emotional because she had the first seat next to him. Her and King are no longer together. She didn't want. I don't see how Quad gets the pass on saying, "Oh, I don't want him on the show." When you brought him to the show, girl, we want to see how he feel. You should never brought him on the show then. So she shouldn't be able to bring nobody else on the show a boyfriend, a fiance, husband, if she ain't gonna let us hear from them at the reunion. I don't know why he wanted to come to the reunion. That kind of was a red flag. I'm like, King, are you opportunist? So that I am looking at that with a side eye, King. But he wanted to come and tell his side of the story. Like I said, Quad asked them last episode if they was talking. They were like, yeah, we talking to him too. He wanted to be here to say his goodbye. I would love to hear his side of the story too. Like, we know Quad crazy. Can we see like your crazy Quad? Cause he gonna tell it. So she should. I don't know how she gets that. I know, but her and Andy Cohen are friends. And so I don't know if that's why. I really, really do like Quad. I think she has a good heart. I feel like she has come a long way. She's kind of humbled herself a little bit. This is the doozy. When that man getting that back, I said, I tell you, boy. Doctor or whatever already to them, and Steve walks in because he was pretty much talking about the stuff, and then Steve walks in and he starts talking, and he was just like, no, I'm gonna tell you what it is right now. He was like, that your wife finds me attractive, and talk about me taking off her shirt. And then of course they went to the scene when they were all at the beach. This is earlier, and I think we leave last season, and they're all at the beach, and Toya going, even though I'm kind of like this too, but me and my husband wouldn't got mad because I don't want nobody but the man that I'm with. I best make that very clear. I say women are, I guess women and men. If somebody fine, they fine. That does not mean I want you. Okay, I can find a man. I'm only attracted to men, of course. I can find a man very attractive and not want him, not be attracted to him. You can be attractive, but that don't mean I'm attracted to you. So that's one thing. I don't know why people act like if somebody's attractive, you're attracted to them. Just because Toya, Steve, okay, then because you put up on that face and see that long nose, the story changes. Okay, I don't want to be rude. But I hate when men get a little too seated. Like, your wife want me. She said you was attracted and thought you had a nice body. That don't mean she wants you. I say, man, she said the only people that she had their shirt on is she said somebody else. Oh, she said King. King's body was looking very nice in that swimsuit. It was. Do I want King? No, I do not. Okay. Toya talking in the confession, pretty much they go back to the scene. She was just like, yeah, they're the only ones that should have their shirt off. So he politely took her hand off of him. My husband wouldn't got mad at that at all. Steve kind of made me mad with that, but he's not lying though. He's not lying. He was just like, you're insecure. He said, you got the short man syndrome. When I tell you Dr. Eugene must have got up, he was like, I'll come back when he stopped talking. He said, when he stopped having a tantrum time. He must have went up in there and poured him a drink, baby. He must have went. He said, he got a little man complex. He showed up and poured him a drink, baby. And then, the man, when I tell you they showed the man, I was hollering. So Dr. Eugene walked out and kind of looked like he went next door. And when I tell you, before he walked out, it panned the room of the man. When I tell you, Contessa's husband, I always forget his name. Contessa's husband was straight watching TV. He was straight looking at the screen. He was like, yeah. I ain't nobody think about it. Men are so different. All the women would have been in that conversation. The only one, I don't think nobody paying attention. I think Cecil might have been paying attention on the couch, but I don't think he was. Dr. Eugene left there. He like, get you a plate, man. You hungry? He said, yeah, I had it for Eugene, for real. He said, listen, Eugene got the business. He said, I'm over here hungry. I said, for real though. And then so the girls are back on the stage, and like I said, Andy was going through all the girls or whatever like that, and then he gets to Dr. Heavenly. He was just like, yeah, so if you ran the representative of whatever she's running from Congress, if you ran it, then pretty much you have to step away from the show. And then Dr. Heavenly was pretty like, I'm not closing any doors or whatever like that. And then Dr. Heavenly was like, well, I guess this is goodbye. Everybody started hollering. Dr. Contestant is funny. Everybody started laughing, or Dr. Heavenly says, yeah, she said she ain't closing no doors. What's up, all three of the shows. Hope you guys have a blessed week. Thanks for liking and subscribing. Peace and blessings.